Yo, yo, yo. Will Reagan from Reagan Reefs and Reptiles. And today I want to talk about our favorite lizard. Why he is, why I think they're really the best pet lizard you can get, and I do. And it's this guy who is an Australian northern blue-tongued skink, and he's great. Pros about this guy, size is perfect. Size is absolutely ideal. They're big enough to be impressive, but not big enough to, cost you $1 million for your enclosure. Need a whole room in your house, so the size to me is perfect. Weapons wise, they really don't have many. That's the other great thing. They're sociable and they're super tame, super handleable. But if it goes wrong for some reason, which I don't see it really happening with these guys too much, but if it does, they don't have weapons to really hurt you. I mean, they've got, small teeth. They do have, obviously, jaws and jaw muscles, but they're not ridiculously strong, they got strong jaws, and some people have said that bites aren't really fun from them, but it's not terrible, and it's not going to be medically significant. And what's more is, if yours is like this guy, not going to bite you anyway. This guy does not bite, does not scratch, not able to tail whip, I don't think. They certainly don't do it anyway. So personality, amazing. The personality is great. The amount, the ease of handling them is great. This guy will come out of his enclosure on his own, right to me, and hang out. I don't have to pull him out or make him come out. He'll come on out. He's great. Diet is kind of unbeatable, man. The diet for these guys, your staple diet, most of your good breeders, who I'm not calling myself that, but like the lady who I got him from, and your big time blue-tongued skink breeders, they're going to tell you that dog food, a good premium grain-free type dog food, is going to be the best staple diet. Just about everybody. And if you check out, the blue-tongued skink guy, God, I got to think of his name, but he's really cool. He's like an ex-zookeeper, and it always starts that with his videos. Ex-zookeeper and now blue-tongued skink, breeder. He says the same thing, and he's certainly an authority on it, that a home brew diet is inferior to dog food. I haven't really heard him say about the prepared dry foods that you put water in and congeal, like the Repashy, the Bluey Buffet, or the Savory Stew. I'm not sure what his opinion on those is, but he says high quality dog food. The lady who I got this guy from, she's in Virginia Beach. Her name is Kristen Kerr. It's Deb's Exotic Blue-Tongued Skinks. She's great, and she'll tell you the same thing. Some people say cat food when they're babies. She says no. She said there's too much, what's the stuff that's in Red Bulls? Taurine? I think it's taurine. I believe she said there is too much taurine in cat food for baby blue-tongued skinks. So to always do dog food. So since this guy has been born, he's been on dog food. Started off on a canned, and then I moved him to the loaf, the Vital, like when you go to Walmart or any kind of pet store, a big Walmart or one of the better grocery stores. Those guys will have refrigerated pet food, and that's where you find it, the Vital. It looks like a tube of sausage, basically, is what it looks like. And you just cut it into slices like that and give it to them basically, at room temperature. You don't want to give it to them right out of the refrigerator because it might chill their guts. I don't do that. I go ahead and get it up to room temperature, a little warmer, before I give it to them. And then you can supplement almost anything. Not sweet tarts, obviously, or gummy worms, but you can supplement snails, earthworms, dubia roaches, tomatoes, greens, fruit once in a blue moon, not a whole lot of fruit, but a little bit like banana or strawberry, whatever. I mean, they're true omnivores, they're true opportunists, and both predators and scavengers same time. I mean, these guys are definitely omnivores. They're like the humans of the lizard community. They eat like anything. He would eat stuff that he shouldn't be eating, but we don't give him that, obviously. But I mean, this dude would eat probably Vienna sausages. I mean, whatever, dude. He doesn't care. But I would put him way, head and shoulders above monitor species, any of the monitor species, really. Overall pet. Now, if somebody wants a giant water monitor, they're great. They're awesome. And hey, if that's what you want, no problem. It's an impressive animal. It's more impressive than this guy. But if you're not looking for something ridiculous, giant, this is perfect. He's the perfect size. He's, has the perfect amount of weapons, which are basically none. Perfect personality. Diet is easy. Temperatures aren't hard to get to. He needs, 105 to 110 basking spot, and ambient temperature on the other side 85 maybe, and then at night I keep it where it doesn't go below about 75. So temperatures are easy to get to. Humidity is really easy to do. These guys are going to want a desert humidity, something just slightly more humid than, say, a bearded dragon. So I try to keep this about 40%. And that's pretty easy to do. It's not bad. I mean, like, you can have a nice sized water bowl, put it on the opposite side of your basking bowls, put it on the cool side so it doesn't evaporate a lot, and increase your humidity too much. It's a PVC enclosure, so it would hold humidity easily, but it doesn't get crazy humid. I've just got a couple of holes in the top for ventilation, a couple of bigger screens there for ventilation, and it sits right around 45%, and it's great. That's what he needs, maybe 40 to 50%, under 60 definitely. This is for the northern. This is only the northern we're talking about. We're not talking about Indonesian or Irian Jaya or Marukis, none of those guys. Any of those Indo species are going to want major humidity, like big humidity, dude. I'm talking about like 80, 90% giant humidity they're going to want. But not northern Aussie blue tongues. They don't. The northerns are great. Reasonable temperatures, reasonable humidity, great diet, great personality, everything. So to me, they're going to blow monitors out of the water just because they're going to be so much easier to handle. And to me, a much more naturally friendly and interactive lizard. I know monitors can become puppy dog tame, but I don't think it's going to be easy like this dude. I mean, this dude, I didn't have to do hardly anything. He came out born almost tame. And it's just, it's a great lizard. That's just one reason. His enclosure, as I said, 48 by 24 by 16, wasn't terribly expensive, even though it was one of the more expensive ones. But this is like a $400 enclosure. If I got $100 worth of lights, including UVB. Some people don't give them UVB. I do. I do T5 there, 24-inch T5 UVB. I do a day bulb basking and a night heat emitter, and I use a day-night thermostat. I have the day bulb just on a timer, so it comes on, runs all day, and goes off at night. I have the heat emitter on a day-night thermostat. So during the day, it's going to come on and keep it up to, the 9,500 degrees under the heat. Then at night, it's going to drop down to like 75, which is great. And if you keep your house fairly warm, like, they can take colder than 75, definitely. I've mostly heard you don't want them to get under 60. Now, our thermostat is set for like 68 degrees. So he should be fine, really, with no heat at night at all. But I don't really take that chance. I mean, if it's super cold outside and the heat pump's just not doing everything it ought to be doing, then he's got to back up. But this room really does stay 75 to 77 all the time, so I doubt that heat emitter comes on much at all at night. It probably does come on some during the day. I mean, I checked it with just the basking bulb with no heat emitter, and I think it was running about 95 to 98, something like that. So the heat emitter, I just needed to bump it up another few degrees, not many. So there again, you're not spending a ton of money. I mean, $400 enclosure, $100 in UVB and heat stuff, a $50 thermostat. Most of the stuff you need for the cage you can get from out in the woods if you clean it well. I mean, we did buy that water bowl, we did buy the food bowl, and the bark pieces. We harvested the rocks ourselves. So, you know, that might have been another $100 worth of stuff. So what are we up to, like 600, 650, probably 650. I make these stands and make them kind of cool. You could do something simpler than that, but I probably got maybe $100 in the stand. Then you need substrate. I like to use the cocoa husk. Few artificial plants, that kind of stuff. So let's say $750. By the time you buy food, everything you need, $1,000. You'd be under $1,000. I counted up to about $750 itemizing. So always there's some unexpected. You're not gonna think of everything, even as many times as we bought an animal and the things that it needs. You still tend to forget something. You don't remember everything. So, you know, you always want some room, some leeway. You want a little extra money in your budget. If you're at $1,000, you're gonna be fine. So this guy, if you have you budget $1,000 to get everything you need for him, and he's gonna run you anywhere from $350 to, you know, $1,500. This guy was actually like $1,400, but he's pretty special as they go. He's got a lot of genes in him. Like his mom was a Fen Orange Sunset T positive, bred to like a I don't know, I have to look it back up, man. There's a bunch of genes. He was the most expensive one out of all of the ones she did that year, and that's not really what I set out for. I just wanted the T positive eyes. I wanted the dark eyes and a fairly light caramel animal, and I would have been fine with more orange. But he's more unique. I see a lot of them with a lot of orange on him now. And I kind of like him. He's cool. So he's got sunrise and sunset in him. He's got Fen Orange. He's got some white gene in him as well, and the T positive eyes. So, you know, he was pricey. But if you didn't go stupid, which you don't have to, man, all Northerns are going to be great. All Northerns are going to be captive bred. So, you know, you dump, say $500. So $500 for a really good Northern Blue Tongue, and then $1,000 for everything else you need. You know, you're budgeting $1,500 for what, to me, in my opinion, is the best pet lizard that you can get. It really is. Other contenders, bearded dragons, they're great, but they stink. They smell bad, and they need really low humidity. So with me, that low humidity with no water bowl or anything, I feel bad. I don't like it. I don't like them not having a lot of access to water. But I know they want like 20% humidity, so you really need not to be keeping a lot of water in there. So anyway, that's harder, in my opinion, than 50 or 45. I mean, to me, it's just much harder to get that super low humidity. And the other thing, like I said, is diet. Beardies, especially when they're little, are going to need just massive amounts of feeder insects. That's a lot more expensive and more difficult than dog food, which is what he's going to need. A lot of dog food. That's it. It's easy. Just dog food is so simple. Geckos. I know geckos are going to be mentioned as another contender, especially like leopard geckos. What else? Oh, cresties. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be saying crested geckos are the best. To me, and it's just my opinion, I'm not hating on crested geckos because they're great. I mean, I love all reptiles, and crested geckos are great, but they're a little boring. Compared to most other pet lizards, they're sort of boring. I'm sorry. They just kind of are. To me, definitely less interesting than this dude. This dude's got a lot of cool things going on. I did not like blue-tongued skinks. I never liked them. When I was a kid, I just didn't like them. I didn't want them. I wanted monitors, you know, and that kind of thing. Maybe a Gila monster. And I know Gila monsters have a similar body type as far as that fat sausage body and small legs. But they're less exaggerated than this. You know, this guy is, I mean, he looks like a sausage with tiny legs. And it's weird, you know, it's just kind of a weird look. But it's grown on me a lot. And even if I thought he was ugly, which I think he's beautiful, but if I thought he was heinous to look at, man, he still is the best. More exciting than a cresty or a leopard gecko. Diet-wise, the Cresties tied, certainly. I mean, they have an easy diet, a little powder diet. You mix it with water and they lap it up. That's pretty easy. But you do have to get it at a specialty place. You can't go to the grocery store and get it. Leopard geckos, I mean, they eat a ton of insects, so that's much more of a pain in the butt than this guy. What else? Tegus. Hey, Argentine black and white tegus, Argentine black and white tegus, however you're supposed to pronounce it, the Argentine part. They're certainly awesome. They're more impressive to look at than this, and they're pretty awesome to interact with. They are. But, and their diet's pretty easy, but they need more whole prey items than this guy by far. So the diet's a little bit harder on a tegu. They're huge. They get friggin' huge, so they do need much more space, much bigger and more expensive enclosure. Main reason I don't have one is just they need a really big enclosure. It's going to be expensive. So, you know, and the other thing, even though they're probably as handleable as this guy on average, ones that you've spent some time with, if something goes wrong, like if those dudes go haywire, they can hurt you. And he really can't. You know, like he's in a dog fight with this dude, you're going to need some band-aids. I mean, I guess he could give you stitches, but he's not going to do it. He's just not going to bite you. That's not him, man. He does not like to bite. He's just not violent. He's totally chill, totally cool. So there you go, man. That is, in my opinion, the best pet lizard that you could get. I mean, it really is. I think it trumps all of the others. For one reason or another, every lizard that you think about, in my opinion, every other lizard is going to be in some way not as good as this. Really. I mean, chameleons are beautiful, but they're really hard to take care of. And they're not very handleable either. So, I mean, that's not even a contender. I think I've mentioned most of the contenders. And like I said, every one of them is worse than this for some pretty good reason. And if they beat this guy out in any category, it's not going to be a deal breaker, I don't think. Because you can't get much better as far as, you know, ease of care. You can't get a whole lot better as far as ease of diet. You can't do a whole lot better as far as personality. You can't do a whole lot better lack of weapons that can hurt you, but still big enough to be impressive to, you know, to really excite you about it. I mean, he's really awesome. The one area where you can beat him out is going to be cost. There are some lizards that are going to be considerably less expensive. Like, you can definitely set up a leopard gecko a lot cheaper than this guy. You can also definitely set up a crested gecko a lot cheaper than this guy. A Knowles, much less expensive to set up. They still need space though, like more space than you think, but they don't, you know, like in a 48 by 24 by 24, even though you might want to make it taller because they're arboreal, you know, you could keep several of them and be plenty of space. They don't need a lot of heat. Pretty simple, but there's other categories that they get killed in, like Knowles and small swift type lizards. They're not handleable. They're not that exciting to watch even. If you have a few of them and they're interacting with each other, they can be cool, but not as cool as this. So that's what I say about it, man. If anybody has a reason they think something else is better all around, and I don't even think expense is necessarily that bad of a thing, because when people can go out and buy a $25 lizard, they, you know, some of them treat it like a $25 lizard. Nobody's gonna go buy a $400 lizard, I don't think, and treat it like a $25 lizard. I mean, you're gonna treat it like a $400 lizard. You're not gonna get it if you don't really want it to start with. And you can think far enough ahead with this guy to see what the end thing is, the end product. This guy is just about grown, and he is not a problem at all. You get a green iguana or a water monitor or something like that, the end product with that thing is a giant friggin' lizard that's active and needs a lot of space. Like a room or more of your home, no joke. So please like our videos. Please subscribe, it'd be great. Obviously we're a new channel. We have real simple videos, not a lot of effects or editing or any of that. You're gonna get what I believe to be good, accurate information. I am not the most knowledgeable herpetologist in the world, but I have been messing with these, especially native stuff, for 43, 44 years. I've bred a lot of different species. I've kept a lot of different species. I used to really specialize in turtles and tortoises, but I always expand it out. I always end up with a little bit of everything. And now that we're doing it as, you know, a side biz to the reefs and stuff, we're really kind of getting into everything. So hopefully you'll get to see a lot of different cool animals. Some that aren't that exotic, you know, like we got a lot of ball pythons and some beardies, but we got some other cool stuff that not everybody has. I mean, blue tongue skinks, that's not super common to have, but Livingston, the Cuvier's dwarf caiman, I mean, he's pretty awesome, pretty unique. I know we're not the only people who have Cuvier's dwarf, but he's awesome. We love him. Also, a good friend of mine owns the Richmond Zoo, and they have a pretty cool. They have access to a lot of cool reptiles, so I'm gonna probably try to get with him and see if we can do some stuff with his animals too, because he's got everything. I mean, he's got a zoo, and that dude has Galapagos tortoises. He has Aldebras. I mean, he's got true giant tortoises. He's got big crocodilians, big stuff, all kind of cool stuff. Permits for anything in the world, stuff that I can never get. So anyway, thank you from us. Thank you from Livingston. If we get enough going where we can get some monetary stuff going on, your money, well, it won't be your money, but advertisers' bucks are going to be going to taking care of these guys, you know, upgrading their enclosures, that kind of thing, and only that, really. So thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. We'll see you soon. God bless. Have a great weekend.